After the convicted former VBS Mutual Bank chairperson Chifua Matodzi's explosive affidavit that has been making rounds on social media with regards to the collapse of VBS Mutual Bank, EFF decided to take it to the television screens to actually clear their name once again within the span of this 5 years. As we all know that EFF has been vocal about this whole actual VBS story. And also on this affidavit, Matodzi is actually pointing fingers to a lot of these prominent and high profile politicians. And also we need to understand that these are only claims. They have never had their day in court. So anything that we say about EFF, it is just claims. There is no merit behind legalities of it all. It's just us claiming, and it's just them contradicting themselves. On this video, I'm going to be talking about the contradiction within the EFF media circus that they are having at this point of time. Dumela Kazi, welcome back to the cafe. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning Sabi, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. On this video, as I said, we are talking about the story of the VBS Mutual Bank, and also we are actually emphasizing that we are checking out the contradiction stories that EFF have been coming with within the last 5 years of this VBS story. At this point of time, Dali Mpofu is the one who is at the forefront giving us information on this actual VBS, trying to clear the EFF name. If you'd like to hear more about this one, please do stick around. Let's get into it. Before we get into this whole matter, because the person who started with these claims on an affidavit is Chifua Matodzi, and we need to know what happened to Chifua Matodzi at this point of time. As I'm doing this video, what is going on with this guy? Obviously, they claim that this actual affidavit was leaked, and NPA is not so happy about it, but that is a story for another day. Let's check out Chifua. The Pretoria High Court on Wednesday sentenced Matodzi, who is 47 years old, to 15 years in prison after he pleaded guilty to 33 counts, including corruption, theft, fraud, money laundering, and racketeering activities in contravention of the Prevention of Organized Crime Act. The sentence comes nearly 4 years after his initial arrest, and he entered into a plea agreement with NPA in terms of section 105A Criminal Procedure Act. So we now know that Matodzi is behind bars and is going to be serving 15 years. If you ask me, I think that is just nothing compared to the magnitude of this case. And also we have to think about people who lost money in this regards, in this corruption, money laundering criminal case that has been going on for the past 5 years, right? We need to think about those people. We need to think about those black people who actually lost a lot of money. It is about over 2.3 billion rands that was lost within this bank before it collapsed, or it collapsed due to that matter. And also we need to understand that those black people that you as politicians are fighting for are the same ones that you took away the money from. And it's not only the EFF that is implicated here, because he pointed fingers on a lot of people. The ANC, as you all know, that ANC you cannot leave ANC behind on anything that is shenanigans motivated in South Africa. Any corruption, any fraud, any money laundering, there's always ANC in it. But specifically on this one, we just want to actually talk about the contradicting stories that the EFF is coming with. Let me tell you that for the past 5 years, since the actual dawn of this case, the EFF maintained that they have never received any money from the VBS. Let's check this video.
We have never received any money from Sgamega or Grand Azania or anything of that sort in the EFF. We have not received any donation from Brian. That is from...
If I'm not mistaken, this video was taken 2018, whereby the EFF says, no, we do not know anything that has to do with the actual VBS. Why are the EFF implicated in this matter? Why is the EFF in this affidavit in the first place? Here's the story that came on that actual affidavit. It is a one-sided story, nothing else that was proven in court that implicates the EFF, but on that affidavit that the NPA doesn't want people to know about, or they didn't want people to know about, obviously the EFF is implicated in there as well, especially the fact that the EFF has been vocal about this matter more than any other party that is involved in this actual affidavit. The EFF has come forward so many times, and they are coming out even now. Two of them, which is Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu, they have been saying that go back to what we said before, you will get your answers. We are not dealing with this again. But now comes Dali Mpofu, who is now the actual person who is the representative of the EFF in these media briefings or in these media interviews. He is speaking differently, and he is lying to us. He is lying to us. If we go back and watch a lot of videos that the EFF have made, it's a total different story from what he's talking about right now. Before we go in, let's check out Dali Mpofu's answers on those questions if EFF got money from this bank.
So before I move to Mr. Tebogo,
yeah,
just for the record,
right,
there is no denial this time that the EFF party did receive funds from VBS.
No, there's never been a denial of that. That's why I'm saying there's nothing new. There's always been there are two. Okay, I was saying there are three things.
Okay, Dali Mpofu is actually saying yes, they did receive money from VBS. Obviously, it was in a form of a donation, so it's a clean money. It shouldn't be a story. It shouldn't be something that the journalist should run with, because this is the donation. It has nothing to do with collapsing of the VBS. It has nothing to do with the corruption and looting of this VBS bank, right? I'm saying wrong. But anyway, let's check out the links of the EFF within this whole thing. Let's check out the links. Why are they linked to this VBS matter? On this affidavit, I'm just going to summarize it for you. On this affidavit, Chifiwa says that because of the noise that the EFF was making during the time that Msholozi, who is Jacob Zuma, got the money to refurbish his own Nkandla home. You remember that story? That story was one of the biggest stories that we have ever had in South Africa, when Jacob Zuma decided to get money from VBS, millions of rand from VBS, to actually renovate his Nkandla home. Jacob Zuma decided to get that money, and the EFF did not like the sound of the whole thing, and they decided to take it to the actual people and social media and media and all of those things to talk about it. Each and every time that they had an appearance and there was a question about Jacob Zuma, they were at the forefront that Jacob Zuma must be held liable for the money that he received from VBS. But hey, we are stupid, right? We are stupid people, and the people who lost their money, they are stupid also, right? That's what I'm getting in this matter. That's what I'm getting, because obviously if the stories would always change, that means we are stupid. We cannot think for ourselves, and we cannot do research, and we cannot go back to check what was said before, right? That's what I'm getting. But anyway, this how they linked together. Apparently also, let's not forget this one. Let's not forget this one. Apparently, Julius Malema said that he doesn't know Chifiwa Matodzi. He only met him once at a party that was thrown by the vendor king.
So, the VBS matter, right? I've never spoken to VBS people. The person I know in VBS and do not know that much about that person is Matodzi, the chairperson of Vele, who was introduced to me at the party of the Bavenda King, Mpofu. So I've never had any dealings with them.
That's what he said. He doesn't know this guy. They only met at the vendor king. Remember that the same vendor king is the same person who was implicated in this VBS matter, that he received money within this actual VBS. And this person, this king is a former king apparently. That's what I saw when I was doing my researches and all of those things. He is a former king. So that's how he actually get to meet Chifiwa Matodzi. He doesn't know him anywhere else than that time that he met him at this party. And he has good relations, or he had good relations with the king. I don't know what is the story right now, but at that point of time, he had good standing with the king. That's why he attended the king's party and in Limpopo somewhere, right? So wow, this is complicated. I understand this is complicated. We can spend the whole day talking about it, trying to figure out what is what and all of those things. But on this affidavit, obviously, it says that Julius Malema, Floyd Shivambu, they met up with this guy, which is Chifiwa. Chifiwa wanted to meet up with Julius Malema and Shivambu in order for him to explain how did Zuma get this money to refurbish his house, because it is tarnishing the actual reputation of the bank, that the EFF is constantly talking about this matter as if Zuma looted in this bank. So he had to go and consult Shivambu and Julius Malema to tell them the whole issue. That's what the leaders do, right? That's what the leaders do in order for the business to thrive. They have to make sure that there is no bad publicity around it. They have to make sure that there is no scandal that is surrounding this particular business or entity, right? So he went to the Sentin penthouse with where he was meeting Shivambu and Julius Malema, and on that meeting he says that he proposed to actually give the EFF 5 million rands as a donation, which is the same donation that Dali Mpofu says that they did receive. The same donation that Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu, the past 5 years, they said they did not receive any money from anyone, right? From anyone. They did not receive any money. So they refuse. So now Dali Mpofu says, no, we never said we don't know anything about money. We never said we don't know, we didn't receive money. We did say that we did receive money as in the form of donation. Any party is getting donations. Everyone knows that any party is thriving using the donations. None other than nothing else. It's just donations. So obviously we understand, Dali Mpofu, we understand, but which one do we actually believe between the two? Which one do we actually believe? So they meet up. He promised the 5 million rands. He promised the 1 million rands each and every month that will be given to the party. And also on top of that, he actually says you need to open the bank. You need to open a VBS bank as EFF in order for you to get this gesture, in order for you to get this donation from VBS, right? No, they don't open the bank under the EFF. That's when Brian Shivambu comes in. Brian Shivambu opens the bank under his company. That's where this amount was transferred to. This amount was transferred to this to Brian Shivambu, and that's when they saw the links of money transferring from Brian to his brother Floyd Shivambu, and all those money trades from Brian, between Brian and Floyd Shivambu, right? That's when those shenanigans started surfacing. But still, the EFF was maintaining their innocence. Obviously, I would maintain my innocence if I did not have money coming into the actual party directly under the EFF. I would say no, I don't know anything about the money, right? Because there is no proof that the money came to the EFF, which is absurd, because obviously if you know that this money is not about the EFF, this is the actual bribery, because you were talking about Jacob Zuma and the VBS, and the VBS decided to consult you to donate to you in order for you to do what? Shut up. And I can tell you right now, not even one single day after this whole thing, not even one single day that Malema and Floyd decided to go on a spree of talking about this VBS shenanigan. Because obviously they knew that they were getting what? Money from VBS. That's when this VBS was collapsing. That's when the VBS was collapsing. It was on its way to the downfall, to the cliff, right? And obviously, let's look out at how ANC is not really taking this whole thing seriously, because ANC has got a lot of shenanigans, and I feel like NPA is not really charging the right people at this point of time, because obviously someone who is in charge, someone bigger than what we think, is actually pulling the strings that this whole thing shouldn't go out. Right? So this whole thing is not going out, it's not going anywhere. NPA is not implicating anyone else. NPA doesn't want this whole thing to come out, because that's what they said about this whole thing. And I feel like this story needs a lot of unpacking. There's a lot of unpacking that needs to be done here, and there's a lot of people that needs to be brought a book. There's a lot of people that needs to go to court about this whole thing, including the EFF that is contradicting themselves each and every time they go on that television, each and every time they call media briefings and all of those things. There's contradictions all the time. So I feel like they might be able to clear their names properly if they would be called in court under the code of law, and they will be able to clear their names. At this point of time, I don't feel like they are clearing their names but contradicting themselves. That's what I'm thinking. I do not really appreciate the whole shenanigan that is happening right now, because now we are left with all the questions, and also the people who are affected by this whole thing, the poor people of Limpopo who are affected by this whole thing. They are just there. The only people that are getting all this media coverage are the actual perpetrators. Even this Matodzi is not a savior. He is not even close to be the best person ever because of the leaked affidavit. I feel like also people like the former national treasury in Limpopo, if I'm not mistaken. Dondo Magajani or something like that. We need them. We need them in front. We need them to clear their names. We need them to talk about this thing, because at this point of time, we cannot say this affidavit is fabricated. We cannot say it is legitimate. We're just saying that, okay, these are claims, and we need to hear more stories, because there cannot be 2 people or 3 people that are implicated within this VBS thing that they can face the music, but there are people that are out there that are not facing music, just like Zweli Mkhize, who is also one of the people that are implicated in this matter. And most of the people that are implicated that are from the ANC, they might be protected because the ANC, the whole ANC, doesn't want to actually speak about this thing while they've got this huge cloud of the Phala saga. As you all know, that our Mr. President had millions of dollars in his couch or mattress or whatever that is. So when you look at in that way that our own president is as rotten as hell, and you think that people that are close by to him will actually be implicated and be charged, think again. I think this case is bigger than what we really think it is. And unfortunately, the people who are actually affected by it, the people who are victims of this corruption and looting and fraud and money laundering, they are not taken into consideration at all. I can tell you right now, no one is actually trying to meet these people halfway in order for them to get what was rightfully theirs. And unfortunately, some of them, others, have died before they can actually get their money from this VBS story. I feel like this VBS story should have been a priority from the beginning. And they should have maybe outsourced their actual capacity, because obviously they were not capable of curbing this whole thing throughout these 5 years. And there are still a lot of loopholes within this case since it started long time ago. And I don't think the next 10 years they should, the people who are affected by this whole thing should wait for another 10 years to know the fate and how the government will actually meet them halfway, because this is sad. This is really sad. But anyway, thank you so much for watching till this far. Please let me know what you think about this whole thing. Do you think that the EFF knows more than what we know? And that is the reason why they are actually contradicting themselves. I'll see you on my next upload. Please make sure to subscribe and comment down below with your own views, and like this video in order for it to make its way to people who might like my energy. Have a fantastic one. Peace out.